Hello, family. Welcome to the Temple of Healing Lighthouse. Goddess Delphi here. And I am going to be doing a live today with my beautiful sister. Her name is RightousSun00. Make sure you guys follow her. She is a beautiful, beautiful divine feminine. She has a lot of wisdom and a lot of knowledge to bring to the collective. And I'm so excited. This is our first live together. It's really our first time really talking. We only spoke for maybe about 5 minutes before, but we've had like either past lives together or sources just orchestrating this. And so tonight we want to bring you guys, we're just going to chat and flow, and we're going to bring you guys some truths about, being a mother and a healer, being a nurturer, and also being a high priestess, being able to balance, the healing journey as well as like the practicalities of life, of like being a mother and things like that. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and welcome her in here. I believe her first name is actual Rashida, but she goes by RightousSun00. I hit accept. So there we are. Hello.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining me and just coming together as beautiful divine feminine so that we can, we're here to hold space.
Yeah.
We're here to hold space for divine feminine, for the mothers, for the nurturers, for the spiritual high priestesses, the leaders. And I just appreciate you. Thank you so much for taking the time out.
Oh my gosh, I appreciate you too. I was gonna add in spirits like it's also holding space for each other. We got moments where, because as nurturers and as moms, I love what you said. We want to hold space for others because we automatically want to do that. We have kids, so it's automatic. That's what I do. I don't know about you, but I feel it's the same energy, and that's probably why we connected, is because we automatically want to hold space for others. And I get goosebumps talking.
You guys, there might be a little technical difficulties until the energies kind of calm down a little bit, because we're going to be giving a lot of like high vibrational codes and high vibrational frequencies. So, there got to be some ups. So we're just going to go ahead and flow and move past that. And I hope to put this on my YouTube too. So hopefully, I like doing long ass lives because I'm a very winded person, but hopefully that this live won't be too long, maybe 30 minutes to an hour, so that I can repost this on my YouTube. So let's see if we can get her back in here. Hello.
We're back.
And we're back. And we don't quit.
No.
And we don't stop.
No.
If you guys don't know, I'm Lighthouse Delphi, Goddess Delphi, and this is my beautiful sister, the RightousSun00 over here. And I'm a mom of 3. She's a mom of 4. So what we're talking about tonight, we know what we're talking about. We know what we're talking about. We resonate on a deep level. It's very beautiful to be able to have another divine feminine to hold space with. Especially, there's a lot of divine feminine that are in like karmic kind of energies, and in competition, and even as mothers, like, oh, I do this for my kid, oh, I do that for my kid, or I buy this for my kid, or this or that, or they're homeschooled, or my kid eats vegetables, and
it's a lot of trying to keep up or trying to be better than what you had. And I'm also hearing just trying to compensate, as well as like, I don't know, for yourself, but almost like when you're you're almost like reparenting your kids, and in the process of reparenting them, you learn lessons, and then you start to parent yourself. It becomes a balancing act of trying to give them what they need on an individual level, but also spiritual, because I know me and you are the same, like that, and so many other people out there, is that as we're trying to do our healing, we're also trying to release past things like what you said, because I love how you talk about karmic. I'm learning more about it. I don't dive into it because I think I focus a lot on channeling, but I do realize that those things play a role in where I am, and not just for myself, but now that I have kids, it plays a role in how I see them, because, you know, we're a mirror image. There's moments where it's like, ooh, that's a little of whatever, whether that's myself or that's a little of like my ancestors coming through.
Wow.
Oh, how can I manage that? And how can I heal those pieces while still healing myself? It's a lot.
This is so fire. You're giving me light codes in my solar plexus, and I'm getting excited because I feel like I'm not alone. When we're trying to reparent ourselves, we're trying to clear up karmic patterns from our ancestors, from our past, and we're trying to learn to really fully embrace ourselves and love ourselves as we're reparenting ourselves, as we're waking up more and more, as we're trying to be there for our children in the physical and spiritually. It is like, whoa. And let me tell you what, I don't know, I was going to ask this, where your kids have such a big age span, so I'm sure, like, were you woke? Okay,
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's a good question to ask.
We're
Um,
so telepathic. You already understand what I'm
yeah,
asking.
I know where you're going with this. I wasn't until I had my son. So I don't know how it was for you, but growing up, I was like, I was that girl who was playing with dolls. Did I know where that was going? But yes, I already knew, like, I want to have kids, because, you know, like the new generations, a lot of them are like, I don't want kids. I want to focus on myself. I want to do all those things. But the ones before were so conditioned to, you get out of high school, you go to college or university, you get married, you have kids, you get a house, you blah, 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 blah. I wasn't all of that. I was like, well, I just want to have a family. And I always use this analogy all the time. Growing up, I used to watch The Cosby Show. So, like, The Cosby Show to me was that, like, family for me, because I didn't have that. I had a broken family. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, you can have a family like that?
Come on.
And I was like, yo, I want that.
Yes.
I didn't know all the details to it.
Right.
But I knew that that's what I wanted. I wanted a 2-parent household. I wanted they wanted to have conversations with each other. They would talk, they would whatever, but they would communicate, which is what like I never had. So I didn't get all the details about it, but what I did do was say, like, okay, well, I at least want to be able to create something that feels like love. And when I watch that show, it feels like love.
Right.
Like, so that's really what I focused it on. But it wasn't until I had my son, Marcus, that I was like, this is more than just TV, right? This is more than just this make-believe what I've created. I'm carrying a human being within me. Well, that already, like, opened my mind to so much, to know that, like, I can carry this. There's this thing moving inside me, and then you give birth, and then you get to see it through their eyes. All the things that I would probably take for granted, like a plane flying in the sky, like the trains going by. He loved that stuff. And I would look at it like, oh, I guess that's so crazy, because to me it's just a plane, but to him it's like, what the is that in the sky, right? So I started to then open up to the possibility of, like, what can dreams really become? Because now that you have kids, you want to be able to instill in them that they can be anything that they want. Those dreams are like infinite
Mm,
amounts of possibilities, like never think anything other than. And then I thought, if I'm teaching him this, I've got to model that. And that
mm,
for me, when it began, was like, okay, if
mm.
we really want to do this, then let's do this. And then it was me seeing, and I think I've heard this story from so many people, is reading the book The Secret. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, The Secret is a little funny because it talks about just ways of manifesting. But for me, it was the words that were coming out from that book that I had never heard before.
It
You're
awakens people that first
right.
level.
Right. It was like, you are amazing. Like just positive affirmations that I had never heard.
Mm,
And I thought, oh my gosh, I have to dive deeper. And of course, from then it was like, who are these people? Let me keep researching. And then it just kept ballooning into like where I am now, having conversations with beautiful people like you. And so now as a mom, I'm like, it's important for me. And I don't know for you if this is the same thing, but sourcing creators like, you've done so much work alone because as moms, when you have kids right away, I used to watch like the baby story and I'm like, they're gonna come and like be there for you the whole time, and they're there for a little bit, but everybody's got to go back to their lives. So I was really left to myself with this like child. So from then it was just like, okay, I'm doing this by myself. But my personality is like that too. I am a Libra sun,
mm,
but Scorpio moon, and then my ascending is Scorpio. So that Libra, Scorpio, Scorpio. So
mm,
we're more like, we want to dive deeper into the mysteries of stuff and then come back out a little bit more enlightened. But I'm in a space now where it's like, oh, community is important. Connecting to other people is so, I don't want to say critical, but it's a definite piece to the puzzle
mm.
to say that like this type of work isn't isolated. It is for the collective. It is for everybody. And how can like people like me and you who live on like opposite sides can still come together and connect and then grow and talk to each other and say, yes, I get this, on a deeper level than just like, girl, I'm tired, I'm this, I'm that. Like I
Yes.
dive deeper into like, okay, why am I tired? How can I come out of that sleepiness? How can I find the self-care and not do it alone? So
That's
like
so
after,
beautiful. I have to
yeah,
say
after
that's
this
very
conversation,
beautiful, and it's needed in the
yeah,
community, because what happens is misery loves company. So you always have a bunch of like mothers that come together and they might, oh, I'm tired, and it's like the bitch committee, like let's just
right.
form a committee so we can bitch about our problems, and that's not gonna manifest anything except what we don't want.
Mm,
And so it's so important that we surround ourselves and we connect with the correct people, because I have people in my 3D who are also, mothers and things like that, but I have had to put a little bit of space, and not because they're great people, but it's because of um my purpose. And God's plan for me is that I am that person just like you that has to dive a little deeper, but not just for myself, it's for the knowledge of the whole,
yeah.
right? So that is, it's just very needed that you do that. And I did want to say this. So, you know, waking up, it happens in layers, right? That's why you said like The Secret kind of like got you going, you know what I'm saying? And with me, when I looked at my child, and I know a lot of people probably are going to shun what I say, but the beauty of connecting with the right people is we're authentic.
Mm,
We're in our authentic form. There's no ill will of for you towards me or me towards you. It is only divine will, like to lift each other up and to really take this knowledge and seed it not only within
mm,
ourselves but for the collective, right?
mm,
So when I would have these like arguments with my kids, or like if they weren't listening to me, or maybe a certain behavior, like you said, that was like maybe it was a piece of me,
mm,
and that's what hit me the most, is when I looked at my middle child who
mm,
looks so much like me, and I saw her
mm,
shadows, and
mm,
I didn't like her shadows. And I
mm,
said, why am I not accepting my child's shadows oh, because it's the reflection of my own shadows. Oh, okay. So this is deep. Like you said, it's not just um how can I say this? A lot of the people nowadays, they are smarter. They are more woke, so they're able to do this inner healing before they have children. But for some of us, like I was born in 86. What year? Can I ask, were
Yeah,
you born?
81.
Okay, so I feel like people that were born a little bit like you said, so we wanted this family. So you get the family, and then I'm going, oh, it also comes with, now I have to learn to accept these shadows, and we got to learn to work through these shadows. I got to love my child beyond these shadows. That means I got to love me beyond these shadows, and really integrate it all at the same time as raising the child.
Yeah.
It's so
literally in the mix. Okay, give me 1 second.
okay.
You know I got kids. Hold on.
Yeah. So I just want to thank everybody for being here, everybody who came, everybody who is listening a little bit. This is the words of the wise. And the difference between somebody that just has book knowledge and somebody who actually has wisdom is experience. And so both me and this beautiful young lady, we have the experience. We have not only the life experience, but the actual like spiritual experience. We've gone through some spiritual warfare where we've have to really dig deep and go within our own souls. And we have chosen to follow our paths of being healers and, being transparent. So make sure you guys have your waters. I got some alkaline water here. I try to drink alkaline water all the time. Make sure you guys are hydrating and all that good stuff. But this information is just so important because, like, as a healer, if I could, I would go live probably 4 to 5 times a week. I'd be getting out a whole bunch more readings. I'd be, doing a whole I would be totally engulfed. Like I told my sis, I said I would be in the mountains and you wouldn't be able to find me because I'd be on some healing adventure with the indigenous people of the area. You know what I mean? But in divine timing, I know that will happen. I was talking about our little trips and how we want to eventually really dive really deep into healing.
I'm gonna keep moving. I feel so give me a second.
You're fine. So
it's all about readjusting.
It is about readjusting. I mean, how flexible do we have to be as parents? Like I was like trying to get ready. I was like trying to get ready for the live as I was like cleaning up dinner, as I was like doing the dishes, as I was like paying somebody for losing a tooth.
Oh,
like
there you go. How do you, can I ask this question? This would be a great question to ask. How do you find the time? Like, I am the type of person, at this point, I'm learning, and I don't know if this even makes sense, but like, creators just like, it's more about learning to go with the flow. Like, learning to just, there we go. Learning to just go with the flow and allow for not so much fitting in the time, but just allowing for it to be, I don't want to say the right time, but just that time to do the work that you want to do. Because like what you said, you got to make sure that they're fed, they're bathed, they're quiet, whatever, they're comfortable enough that you can then devote that time and energy to what it is that you want to do. I always say it's like devote the time to your craft. right? Because
Yeah.
the more you
Yep.
devote time to your craft, the more it grows, the more you flourish, the more you heal, the more you let go. So how do you like find that you are learning over time to create that? Because the kids, I would say when my kids were younger, it was a little bit easier. Like, yo, y'all were in bed at 8 o'clock at some point, and it's changed,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Yeah. That's such a great question. And I think that a lot of, not just mothers, but just people in general, whether they have kids or no kids, we always try to use that as an excuse. We don't have the time, we don't have the energy, right? We don't have the time, we don't have the energy. But the truth of the matter is we always have time or energy for the things that we choose to have time and energy for. And so we are the creators of time, we are the creators of energy. So if we're thinking in lack, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough energy, whether I have kids or not, I have so many other things that I need to be doing, right? And then it comes down to let me get my priorities straight, and what do I want to accomplish, and be like trained train focused, like a train, like a freight train. Because what happens is a lot of the things that are valuable for our own soul expression and our own soul healing will take a back burner. We will do all the dishes, all the stupid shit that is going to be there in the morning. We have to do the dishes, and we have to do this, and we have to do that, and we have to have it like this, and the kids have it like this, and now the house is perfect now, da, 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 da. And then I remember when my kids were young, I was like, shit, did I even take a shower? Did I even get a shower? And I'm like, wait a minute, do I not have time for a shower? So it's so funny when mothers come to me, and this happens a lot, actually. Even my friends will say, how do you have more kids than me? How did you have time? Honey, I didn't have time.
Yeah.
I made it out of the fucking ethers because it was important to me. So I had a friend of mine have to literally coach me and tell me, Sarah, you're more than a mother. You're more than just what your responsibilities are, and you're more than just like your different roles. So why I make sure, like, for instance, when I started shifting this, people around me didn't understand. My kids didn't understand, like, why do you need to have time for lives? Why do you need to have time for making music or poetry? Or I even had a friend of mine go, you never hang out with me, but you have time to make poems. And I'm like, whoa,
That's a little bit.
you need to find a hobby.
Yeah.
You need to find a hobby. You need to find something that you love. Because here's the thing is, I am a true believer in expression to heal.
Yes.
So whatever your craft is, whatever your expression is, your soul expression, that's how we really embody our inner child and continue to be young and have the fountain of youth, and to be able to really enjoy life, that's what it was made for. God made it so that we can have life, and life abundantly. Well, if I'm only doing mundane things because that's all I have time to do, then I'm going to live a miserable life. So I had to literally tell myself, okay, I have tons of things to do. I could do laundry right now. I could clean up the kitchen right now. I could, whatever. But I tell myself, you are the first priority, Sarah. So what do you need? Okay, do you need to take a nap? Guess what? You're not going to feel guilty about it. You're going to take a nap because you need that. What do you need? You need a shower? What do you need? You need to put boundaries up with your kids and tell your kids, oh, you're going on live? Then that's what you're going to do. You're going to tell whatever, your mom or whoever, your friends, I'm sorry, I can't hang out because a Friday or a Saturday night to me doesn't look like going to the club or having people over for drinks. What it looks like to me is I might go live and do healing. I might do readings. I might go with a book and make time to read my book, because what I'm paying my attention to is what I'm going to reap.
That
So
needs to be said again.
I have to make sure, what am I making my time for? What am I making my energy for?
Paying attention.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's what you reap. Perfect timing too, because we are now slowly getting to the fall season. So in my head, I'm definitely hearing it's harvest time. It's time to harvest all of those seeds that you sowed in the beginning of the year, to the springtime, to the summer. I felt like summer was really like, I don't know why I keep coming back to like gardens, but like I live in an apartment, so I have like, I created like my garden balcony, but that always comes back up because in the summertime, I don't know if you felt the same thing, but it was really about just enjoying, like flowers enjoying the soil. They finally have come to bloom, and now they just get to like be. And I did feel, especially this summer, just about taking it easy, soaking in the sun, but just enjoying the moments of all of the stuff that happened in the beginning of the year, but resting in that cultivated soil. All of the stuff we sowed is like, okay, it's not fully ready, but it's there and you see the growth of it. So I definitely understand where you're coming from in terms of just being able to sow those seeds, and they look different than maybe what they used to look like, and they look different than what other people are doing. But that's why we are on the same page, because what's fun to me is those things, right?
Me
it's me sitting there and doing meditations. It's me reading my books. It's me, I'm learning slowly to do the lives, or do finding ways to be able to share collective messages, because that's where I want to spend my time.
Me too. Imagine like if we were hanging out in real life right now, we'd be having our cards out. We'd be like, you know what I mean? Like we'd be doing this, and time would literally stand still.
Mm-hmm.
It could be 5 o'clock in the morning before we knew it, and we're like, wait a minute, where did the time go?
Right? Hours of conversation. But when you have those type of conversations and you meet people like that, you're right, time does stand still, and you feel more energized. You feel more fueled to say like, ooh, this work that I've been doing, I can now take all of that and share it with others, and then they share their experiences, and then we compare, and we have laughs about it, and we have discussions about it, and we get lessons from it, and then we're like, wow, okay, I'll go with now. I take, right? It's like a give and receive, and now I can take all of those things and utilize it, and then like transform it, transmute it into what I can use for myself.
I'm very thankful for you, because I started my YouTube 3 years ago, and then last year I started my Instagram. And so when God told me to start doing this, at first I kind of wanted to just do it by like what I mean is, I didn't necessarily want the connection. How can I say this without sounding like such a hermit? I told God, I said, okay, I'll do YouTube because people, they can comment their little things, but that's it. Right?
Yeah.
Last year when God told me to come on Instagram and do this, I was like, no, because it could be overwhelming, and a lot of the times there's people that have a facade up, and it's like you think that they're a good feminine, but then when you open up and you're vulnerable like this, they can't even keep it real with themselves or with you. And so it's like, I've met a lot of resistance in doing that, but I think that, wow, I just heard Spirit say the seeds were still sown. So it doesn't even matter,
Yeah.
because as long as we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, what we're being obedient and doing what we're supposed to be doing, you know what I'm saying? So but I just appreciate your authenticity. I appreciate that, because that's where spirit can flow. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It feels very light, high vibe,
Yeah.
spirit flowing, very pure. It's like, yes.
Totally. What are your signs? What are your signs?
So I am a Taurus sun.
I knew it. God, I already know it. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm an Aquarius moon, and,
Mm.
and I am a Virgo rising.
Ah, okay. Wow, such a like lovely mix. Oh, so you got a lot of earth signs in there. And then what's Aquarius? Is that what is that? Air or water?
Yeah,
Air.
it's air
Yeah.
sign.
Thank
It's the
God for
upper. It's the upper waters.
bro. Something about these Tauruses in my life. I have a lot of Tauruses in my life. Not recently, but in the last few years. And I'm totally in awe. I take so many lessons from you guys because you guys really, like, when you put your foot into the earth, yo, it's there. It's every step is like, yo, I'm in that earth. I'm taking every step. Like I would then, as a Libra, I'm air sign, all that water. I'd be like, ooh, I'm following her tracks because it's so heavy in there. But I appreciate that because I think, at least for myself, I'm a lot up here, and that Taurus really helps to just solidify that energy there. Um, I always take everything from every zodiac sign, but like
Mm-hmm.
Tauruses, for whatever reason, are supposed to be around me. And you guys all give off the same beautiful energy. There's this grounding energy about you guys that you're like, if I want something, I'm going to execute it. I'm going to make sure it happens. And I'm going to trudge through the mud, the dirt, the whatever. And I'm going to get there because it's there. I see it. So, because I created that. So I'm just now walking to it. It was already there because you guys are amazing. So,
Thank
yeah, this
you.
is supposed to be, this is definitely supposed to be
Go
happening.
gang. I love my Libras too. I learned so much from you guys. My South Node is in Libra, and
Okay.
so it was like my North Node is Aries. So what that means is I'm learning to balance between, that Libra energy of like relationships, that seventh house,
Mm,
partnerships, relationships, into my independence.
mm,
And so I love Libra energy though, because I feel like, of course you guys are like karmic justice. Like you guys are fair. You guys are non-biased. You guys look at the facts. And I learned so much from Libras. My my only teacher that I had that I did inner child healing with when I first woke up, he is a Libra sun,
really?
and he was much younger than me. He's like 25, and that man, I was like, oh, I was like, thank you so much. And he's still one of my really good friends. But he's a Libra, so I love me some Libras. Also, I have to say this. So the tarot, the Empress
Mm.
is Libra Taurus.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. So it's already in divine. I love it.
So this is the Empress. This is the room of the Empress right here. And we're both highly psychic because my moon is in Aquarius
Yeah.
and your moon is in Scorpio. So that's just very, very intuitive energy right there
Mm.
as well. So it's beautiful. Do you do tarot? Or can you tell me like what do you offer so I can, because I want people that follow me that watch this later to follow you, and I honor you first of all as a woman, at just your spirit in general,
Mm.
right? I respect you. I haven't even like it's your essence. I'm a reader, so I felt you through the texts. I felt you through your your energy signature, and I enjoy your genuine spirit, and it feels safe because I can be genuine, and I don't have to worry about no knives or nothing weird like that. It's just all good. And so I was just gonna ask you, like, what services do you have? Services, are you being called to do services? Did you start? Can you just let me know a little bit?
Yeah, I have always had the gifts, but I left them dormant for a super long time. And then I did Reiki probably what, 2014. I did that for my own personal self. I did it, and then everything started to just open up from there. And then it sort of just trickled into doing psychic readings because I love that piece. That's my favorite piece to do. So I do Reikis. I do a lot of stuff one-on-ones. I don't really do a lot of group stuff. But my calling now that I'm talking to you, and it's actually been around now for maybe the last like year or so, but like heavily this year, Spirit is definitely saying like, this is it. Like, are you ready? I've been hearing "are you ready" for a long time, but now I'm sitting in this now and saying like, I absolutely love doing psychic readings. I love doing channeling. This conversation is channeled always. And you know that because you do the same thing. I can't have a conversation without spirit around me. Like, there has to be lessons that are learned in every conversation, whether I like it or I don't. Sometimes my middle one, so I love how you said too about your daughter. I got 3 girls, but the 2, I definitely see a lot of that shadow stuff that you're talking about, like the shadow work and their shadows, and how a lot of that is a reflection of me, and how I have to like dive deep into that, and also like just the reflections of my ancestors who come through as well, and a lot of their unhealed experiences in lives, and their personalities that shine through and come through. So a lot of the times I'm always using spirit, and there's moments where my second oldest is like, not today. Like, I didn't want, she's got the Virgo, so she's just like, I was just wanting a conversation. Like, I've heard this 50 million times before, Mom. Not. I'm like, listen, whether you like it or not, I have to share it, right? Whether you're a little triggered by it or you're a little bothered, it means that this lesson has to be shared, because if it doesn't get shared, like, whatever, it's like a loss. I don't want to say a lost lesson, but like, yo, you're gonna get schooled today, okay? Yeah. I'm gonna let you know. But yeah,
I love it.
That is my
I love it. My kids sometimes think and not just my kids, people think I'm low-key crazy all the time, right? Because I'm constantly being led by spirit, because you know why? I've done it without being led by spirit, right? And I don't like it.
Right? That's it. I've done it without it, and it hasn't been the best experience. It doesn't feel good. So when I follow spirit, and the more you do that, the more you strengthen that intuition, the more like, and especially with women, I know I'm probably going off topic, but it's so important, because when you have kids, I'm teaching them in this moment as they get older, and they have to navigate on their own. That's my biggest piece, is that my son is going to be 17, and he has moments where he's like, I'm a little scared to go out into the world as an adult. My job is to teach you how to trust your inner compass.
Come on.
Trust your voice. Trust the intuition in those moments, because that's what's going to help you. And that's what's led me to this moment here. You're going to try to, and I did the same thing, and so many of us do it. We try to do all these other different things, and we know we're supposed to do the bullseye thing, but we're like, I don't know, maybe society or family or whoever says, oh, the bullseye isn't going to make you money, or the bullseye isn't enough to help you live in this world. But the bullseye is what makes me happy.
Come on.
The bullseye, like, yo, I wake up and I'm like, oh, I get goosebumps knowing that I get to wake up and do what I love to do.
Right.
I love to, when I leave doing a reading, I feel so energized. I don't feel drained at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I don't feel like, oh shit, like I gotta go do a reading today. No, I'm like, ooh, I get to do a reading today. I get excited. And that's for me. I want my kids to get excited about whatever spirit is leading them to do. So I say that because my son wanted to do, like, my son was like, I want to be a real estate agent. And I'm like, oh, spirit, he don't really want to do that. He loves water, loves science, loves nature. Like, he will talk about every animal. I'm like, how the fuck did you know that? Yeah. He's like, he doesn't know that.
Right.
And it was only from him reaching out to other people within the community who was like, I love to do what I do. Now, I'm a woman, so I'm a female. Yeah, you're going to listen to mom, but you also want people that look like you. You want people to, he's a man, he's becoming a young man. So to hear from another young man saying like, ooh, I actually enjoy doing this. This is what I wake up, I do every day because I love it.
Yeah.
He came back, he's like, you know what, mom? I think I don't want to do the real estate agent because I just wanted that for the money. And he loves cars. So he's like, I wanted it for the materialistic stuff. But he's like, I think I really want to do, and I already knew this was what he should be doing, was marine biology. He loves the ocean and loves, like, that is his, right up his alley. But I kept that quiet for so long. And then he came back and he's like, I want to do this. I'm like, it's going to take a lot of work. But if that's what makes you happy.
That's so
and then
beautiful.
I was like, yo, Spirit wants you to do that. As much as he laughs about it, he knows it's going to take a lot of work. So I think a lot of the times we choose to do all of the other things because we think it will take less steps to get to what we want. The bullseye is going to take a little bit longer to get there. Every time we hit that bullseye, or we're hoping we're going to get there and we don't, but we keep trying because we're so focused on wanting to at least get one attempt. And that one attempt helps us to say, if I can get it one time, let me keep trying and see how much better I can get at it. It takes a lot of work, but I think you get to where you want to be.
Yeah, you get to the actual vibration of abundance.
Right.
Because, see, what happens is you see people that are football players or create movies or do voiceovers for cartoons or these weird jobs or whatever, right? Going on a submarine under the sea. And the society makes us think that it's so far out there that those things aren't realistic. And so we try to have this like, okay, well, what can I do realistically that will be acceptable in society? And what happens is that's when people get stuck in the matrix. Then they're in 9 to 5 on things that they're not even enjoying their work. But when you go after your passion and you go after what your purpose is, what spirit put you here for, what you're actually desiring to do, and we develop our craft in doing those things, like you said, it might take longer. It might not take longer. It might take longer for us to get there. It might not. But the thing is we will be vibrating at that abundance level. And see, if you see people that covet other people's life, covet meaning I want that kind of life, it has nothing to do with maybe what they're doing for a living. It has all to do with their vibration of where they're at. So it's like you see people that are making a lot of money off of social media or whatever, and you look at their life, people that hate on them is because they're literally jealous that they're in work. Right. They're having to do all this shit they don't want to do, and this person is getting paid all this kind of money to have fun. Wait a minute, when can you get paid to have fun? Well, if you're living your purpose and you're doing what you love and you're vibrating on that abundance, God eventually will, right? It will eventually go from above to below. It eventually will manifest. So like you said, you enjoy doing the readings. Like when I do lives, when I do readings, when I do all that stuff, I enjoy it. I enjoy it. I go, wow, I get paid to do that. It comes so natural. it
Yeah,
doesn't even feel like I'm doing anything except
right.
being myself and doing what I'm supposed to do. And that's what it's supposed to feel like.
Absolutely.
And it's a
Totally.
beautiful thing, but there's still, especially like in our field, you have to still make sure that, you know, you're having your boundaries with how much you are giving,
Yeah.
because people will, and even your passion could overtake you to the point where you're like, wait a minute, I need to do some practical grounding things. Like
Yeah.
maybe I just need to take a vacation, or I need to go to the park this weekend and I really need to get my feet in the ground, or whatever I need to do, you know?
Mhm.
So I do want to say this. So you offer readings.
Yes, I do offer readings. I do Reiki healings for those who choose to do so. I get a lot of people coming in for psychic readings, and I do them out of the comfort of my home. I get on Zoom calls, and I connect with people all over the world to be able to offer that to them. I do a lot of, I'm from Toronto, Canada, so I do Reiki healings in person. And if people so choose to, they can choose to do them online as well. But yeah, that is my focus. Yeah.
That's
What
so
about you?
beautiful.
How did
I
you?
want to just say though, does it, if people want to get in touch with you after they watch this, can they just DM you, or do you have like an email or?
So they can go on the link that's in my bio and they can book that
Okay.
way. But I
Okay.
know everybody's funny with technology, so I'm always free and open to receive messages. So sometimes I get them through whether it's word of mouth, or some people can just connect with me and say, I really want to book a reading with you. How can we do it? And then it's just a conversation, a quick conversation. We figure out what day works. And then I just send off the email and we take it from there, really.
Awesome. That's
What about
beautiful.
yourself?
Um, so I do card readings.
Yeah.
I do downloads. I do. I'm not Reiki certified, but I do energy healing. I use crystals and I use my hands.
Mm-hmm.
I do it in person or online. I also Source has been really getting on to me about like teaching certain things. Like of course my vision is way out in the future, so I could see myself like teaching certain classes,
Yeah.
but like for now I'm doing like one-on-one, so you can book one-on-one sessions with me if you want to learn how to like access your intuition, access the Akashic. If you want to learn how to read tarot, I do like teach tarot for beginners. And also I have like spiritual hygiene products
Mm,
that I've been using for my own healing for the past like 3 to 4 years. And like within the
wow.
last 6 months, Source has had me concoct these alchemical, beautiful oils and sprays and salts for the collective, so that, you know, people that are either very empathic or spiritual leaders can use these things to be able to, you know, anoint themselves and just clear energy and stuff like that. They've been like life changer for me. I have I call it my rose goddess
I know
accessories.
I want that. I know it can't, like, I know you're still in the process, because when I saw it, I was like, ooh, how could I get that? But I know that you will get to that point where I'll be able to order that from you and you can send it my
Yes.
way.
I'm so excited because we have to be patient as
Yeah.
we grow, because I want to offer this across the whole, because we're global. Like you just said, you reach people around the world. I reach people around the world. We're global. So it's like I want to send the stuff to Canada and UK and
Yeah.
everywhere, Brazil, but in Australia, my peeps in Australia. But I haven't been able to yet. Right now I'm just doing US only. But I was thinking of expanding it to US and Canada, and then from there see where it goes. But right now I have like a bath salt, and I have rose oil, and then I have like a self-love spray, and I also have a protection spray. And then this is the first time I'm revealing this, but Source is having me develop a yoni care um type of body wash. And
Mm.
so I'm gonna label it just a body wash, but I'm going to put a lot of sacral healing in it for the yoni space. But I want men to be able to purchase it too for their own sacral and just like for their own cleansing for their body too. So I might do like a yoni one for my divine feminines and then come up with like a more masculine one. And then, you know, you can kind of choose on what you want. But sacral healing has been very important, like in my life, especially because I have 3 kids, especially because I had C-sections and all on all my kids too. So it's like that sacral space was violated a lot. And so anyway, so that's just some of the stuff I do. And then, you know, like I do my spoken word stuff, and that's really for healing purposes. Like I have this little thing down here. I put express to heal, you know, use your voice. So when I do a poem or I do, it's like yeah, it heals collectively, but it heals my heart. It develops me, my soul even more, you know. So I kind of just try to flow with the things that I do, and I've tried to kind of put myself in a box, like too, like I know we're not supposed to, but I kind of have tried to, like, okay, what do you do? And then I thought, well, damn, I'm the product, because I can do whatever. Because let me tell you what, I do photography too, and these are my pictures from Greece, and I have pillows, I have blankets, like if you want to order blankets with my stuff, I have magnets. The pillows are so cute. I showed my mom the pillow. She's like, that's mine. I'm like, dang. Right. I'm like, okay, Mom, you can have it. I will order another one. That was my display. You can have my display.
Yeah. See,
you know, but
creating through spirit. I'm now learning that, like, I'm like you. I wanted to place myself in a box because society says you have to have specific things. It's hard for me to do that though, because like I've never been that. I have been so, like, if I go back to my childhood, I am so wide range of what I love to do that as long as I'm creating, I'm happy. So I'm not specific.
It's because we're multi-talented, and we're supposed to be making multiple streams of income. Yes. The Empress card, like I said, you're Libra and I'm Taurus. The Empress card, she's abundant, and she just, now it shows her just sitting there. You know what I'm saying? We know it took a lot for us to now we can sit down. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We have to do a lot of work before we can sit down on our throne. But now that we're actually sitting down on our throne, that's why what's so funny is, you want to know one of the main things when I was a kid that my mom and my parents, my mom, like they used to say that, and even in school, that I'm not creative because I didn't know how to maybe draw a certain way, or I didn't know. And here's the funny part. And I never even took the time to really see if I could draw, because I was always told that, you know, I wasn't creative. And then my mom would say she wasn't creative. And then I'd be like, oh. And then I'm like, that's the funny part, is I'm actually designed to be so multi-talented and so fucking creative that I'm just creating just by being.
Yeah. It's such a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing to be able to also sit in that and learn to be able to say, I do so many different things that encompass who I am. I'm everything. And then, you know, they always say, like, don't add the labels, but like, I know which hat to put on at any given moment, right? And I'm okay with that. I'm okay to say, okay, today I got to take this one off. I always think like someone who's dressing up, you got to take off each one to adapt to where, you know what I mean? So you're like adaptable, which is a beautiful thing. And when you are creating from a place of love, then creation just flows anyway. Especially too after, if you're a mom, or if you're a parent, if you are somebody who is a nurturer, because I think Tauruses are very nurturing people. It's automatic for them to do it, which makes sense because you're earth sign, so the soil nurtures the plants that grows from it. So it's an automatic thing to be able to, nurturing is love, and then through that is creation. So such a beautiful way that you're putting that in terms of just the creative piece of it, that it's not just one particular thing, and it's something that needed to come out. There's a thing of like, people want you to have a label so that it works for them, so they can identify with you and say,
Oh my
this is
gosh,
what you are.
especially it's a lot of the times they want to identify with the label they've created for you.
But yes,
And I'm
I love
like,
that.
I'm sorry, but I'm not going to identify with the label you've created for me.
Yeah.
I'm very artistic. I'm going to use my voice. When I first started doing my music, you know, my mom told me, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. That's just because she don't like it. That's not, you know, I could have went one or two ways with that. I could have allowed it to cap my throat chakra and cap
Yeah.
my authenticity, and therefore I would be pleasing someone and not pleasing and being nurturing and loving myself. I would be actually stabbing myself in the back.
Yeah.
So I had to say, whether somebody likes what I'm doing or not, whether somebody even agrees with how I sound, or, you know, I never said I had the best voice or I do everything the best, but I do everything with my signature.
Mm, I love it. It makes so much sense because it takes a lot. For me, I truly am in awe when I see people express themselves on so many different levels. You don't have to be the best of it, but the fact that you went out of your comfort zone to do something that you said needed to be shared, to me, I'm like, oh, that's amazing, because not everybody can do that. So many people want to. I really do believe that there's this like underlining of a lot of people wanting to do things, and they either will sit back in silence saying, I wish I could.
Yep.
Some might sit back in a negative energy thinking, why are they doing that? And I'll be like, but you ain't doing it. So go back over there, because I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing. I'm going to continue to connect with people that are doing that. That inspires me, because it makes me realize that in those moments that I might be thinking, should I post this, or should I say this, or is this going to make sense? No, it does make sense. It's okay. It makes sense to you. So that's good. Somebody will resonate
That's
with
right.
it.
That's right. And it's up to us to be bold, because people, like when you were talking about when you were asking about time earlier, a lot of the times I can even talk myself out of things. And I know people will resonate with this. It's like, oh, I know I've been needing to go live with Rashida, but I haven't. I really know I need to do a reel, but I got other things, you know, and I haven't. So I really think it's about also taking that inspiration right when source is having us to, and either, here's what I do. I try to do it then, and if I don't, I will write it down and I will do it eventually.
Ah,
So I always tell myself, I'm like, okay, I need to be moved by this inspiration and do it. And if I'm like, I, you know, as a mother, like, so if I'm in the middle of cooking or something, I can't, because, you know, I'm choosing. I could if I wanted to, but I'm choosing to do what I'm doing with my kids. So then I say, okay, let me write this down and then I'll talk about this later. You know what I mean? And I still make it a priority. But it's easy to be able to, like, we could have talked ourselves out of this tonight if we really wanted to.
oh,
You know,
yeah.
you
I'm
got
sure we
kids,
did
you were
in
doing
our
your thing,
minds.
I got kids, I got, you know, and it's like, no, what is important to
Yeah.
us? What is important to source, really?
Yes.
Because we're honestly, like, I feel like I'm a servant. You know, the empress is the biggest servant. That's what people, now God wants me to talk about this. So people always want the spot of the empress, or they always want the spot of the emperor, but they don't even understand all the things that we've done to even get on our throne. And then when we're on our throne, how much shit is thrown at us to try to knock us off.
Yeah.
And I just made a song called Pivot. And that's exactly what it's about pivoting. Sometimes we got that stance going and God has us in place, but sometimes we got to be able to be flexible and we got to be able to pivot and move around. That's what makes a real champion too, a real legend, Muhammad Ali. That's what I said. One of my lyrics in there is like Muhammad Ali, fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee. So he knew how to maneuver. And a lot of the times it's like people, they want to know like, well, how can they share their voice, or how can they or how they, it's about being bold and learning how to maneuver and learning how to pivot through. And you only can do it by going through it.
That's so true. That is so true. This is coming up. I have to mention that because when you talked, I'm going left field for a second, but I feel as if I need to share this with you. And I think you've already done your karmic, so I don't know if you've done past lives before, but every time I see you, your name is like so signature to who you are, because you were that at some point in your life. So I don't know if like you've done that, like you've gone to like a past lives regression, or you've done something like that, but like why I wanted to connect with you was because I was like, oh, she's been here, done this before. So like, are you from Greece? Like Mediterranean?
First of all, I have to honor your gifts. I honor your ancestors and I honor your gifts right now, because you're spot on. You're spot on. And so I am Greek. My grandfather's from Athens, Greece. And I have a strong connection with my Greek ancestors. That's why connecting with the root, I wanted to honor them by making merchandise. That's the Lighthouse Delphi merchandise that I make is dedicated basically to my ancestors. First of all, do you do past life readings?
I don't, but
you don't,
I'm so like, I love everything about past lives. I don't know why, but like just I've always been so interested, but I've never done one that I felt like I resonated with. So that's why I was like, oh, her connection, I gotta speak to her, because like
I'm getting a couple of downloads for you right now. Okay, my downloads for you are this. Number one, you can access the Akash. You're like me, purple flame. When I say purple flame, violet flame, I'm talking about karmic clearing, Saint Germain. If these keywords are gonna do something with your DNA, but if you don't know, you can also look it up and see. Purple flame, Saint Germain, clearing up karmic patterns. Okay, purple flame, high priestess, being able to see, having the vision, being able to hold the crown. Okay, the knowledge, the wisdom that God gives us. Okay, when God gives us that, he also can give some people. See, I was under the impression everybody could do this, but I didn't know. Now that I'm getting more and more into this, God is showing me certain people God gives access to, like the book of lives, basically past lives, and the Akashic field. And I believe everybody can access those once they hit a certain connection and intuition with source. But you have that. So you can do either like past life regression, or you have done that in a past life. You have done past life regression, and also you could do past life readings, because how do I know that? You just did one on me. You don't even have cards, and you just did one on me. Okay, so if you did get yourself a past life deck, you would be able to do past life readings, because you would take your intuition of what you're feeling about a past life, and then you would also have some cards that can give you some tea. And the thing is there's so many different past lives that people live. I mean, some people are younger souls, some people are ancient souls, but God will reveal these to us. And well, anyways, make a long story short, a few years ago, I was getting some downloads about past lives for me. I got a whole bunch of them. Freaked me out. I said, oh gosh, I could access the gosh. Da, da, da. I started doing past life readings on myself and on other people as well, because I do offer past life readings. But check this out. I used to be Mediterranean Goddess 1111. Okay. Last year, I would even say 6 months ago, I changed my name to, I'm still Mediterranean Goddess, but I did Lighthouse Delphi Temple of Healing. And now I call myself Goddess Delphi. So instead of Mediterranean Goddess 1111, I call myself Goddess Delphi. And the reason why is because of certain past life knowledge that Source gave me. It shifted me in a way to where I was able to embody an even higher archetype. So Mediterranean Goddess was already my like 5-dimensional archetype. But when I went to Goddess Delphi, it was because I dove into that past life, and I didn't even dive into it. What was happening was one night I was doing my cards. I just had tarot out and I had some music playing, and I went into like a fucking trance, and Source showed me that I was a oracle in ancient Delphi in Greece.
Yeah.
And I literally was like, okay, so I was one of the first oracles in Delphi. And so I kind of did a little research, and they're called Pythias. And there was 3 main Pythias at all times. But see, they were only supposed to be accessed once a month. And people had to bring their blessings to show their appreciation. So other than that, once a month, what they did was they bathed in the holy waters. So they would do their meditations, their cleansings, and then one time a month they would do the oracle and open it up and everything like that. And it's giving me goosebumps right now because I didn't tell anybody about this. I have not told anybody about this.
Like when you're saying all of that, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Because what I saw was you being somewhere and people coming to you. Like you were the it person for people to go to. So I feel like that's why I've always been drawn to you, because I'm like, wow, what a name that she had. I always say names are never an accident. So that name is like a stamp of approval almost.
Yeah. My ancestors stamped me that day. It was about 6 months ago. And I said, okay. And so I embody this Goddess Delphi. And I say, God, now I got to go to Delphi. So Delphi is the city. It's outside of Greece. It's north of Athens. It's in Greece. It's north of Athens. And it's the ruins and the temple of the ancient oracles. So Source had told me, when you go there, do an ancestor reading in Delphi on live. Wow. So whenever I do end up going to Delphi, I'm going to go live and I'm going to do an ancestor reading, because the downloads that come in during that time are going to be super heavy. And not like heavy like bad, but like a lot. Because I'm going to be...
Yeah, a lot of beautiful energy. Almost like a whole influx of like, I don't know why I'm thinking rainbows. Like just this heavy light, but a beautiful light that's going to show up. I look forward to that. I definitely look forward to that. Oh, there's going to be so much like information being spilled in that moment.
There's going to be tons of ancestral DNA activations. Yeah. That's what Source told me. Source, like, when you go to Delphi, do your ancestor reading, and people all over the globe that are going to be watching it, whether they watch it then or later, it's going to give ancestral DNA activations, because that's what had happened to me. Was Source reminded me of who I was. And isn't that beautiful how Source reminds us of who we are? Mm-hmm. And then Source says, are you gonna choose the truth, or are you gonna listen to lies? Right. Like, oh, I'm gonna choose the truth. So I was so honored when I saw that. So girl, yes, past life readings you can do, because I haven't told anybody that. I have a song called Pythia. If you guys, any of you guys that are watching want to go check it out. And I talk about how I'm the Pythia from old. I'm the ancient soul that holds the scrolls.
Wow.
And that's what I'm talking about in that, is that the whole city used to come and ask me for guidance, you know?
Did you ever, I have to ask this other question. Did you, when you went to Greece, did you have people there that were like, almost as if they looked at you like, yo, you've done this before, I've seen you before, your energy or something? I don't know if that happened, but like when you go, you're gonna expect a lot of that when you go to that spot right there.
Okay.
People are gonna come to you for sure. Like,
okay,
almost an influx, not too much, because you know, but more than you're like, girl, I just came here to for myself. But okay,
they're gonna remember me. They're gonna remember me.
Yeah, people are definitely gonna say that.
I'm so excited right now that you're saying this to me, because okay, when Source was telling me to go to different ley lines and different spots on the grid, I have a list of at least like 12 different places I'm supposed to go. And when I went to the last one I went to, I had like 10 people tell me, I know you. And I'm like, I've never been here in my life. I finally had to call my friend over and I was like, come here. All these people are saying they know me and remember me. And then he sat there, and then another person goes, I know you. And he was like, yo. And it's because it's almost like the timelines are catching up or something, or like people are getting activated, because that timeline, it was supposed to happen and I was supposed to activate certain people. So yeah, when I go to Delphi, I'm sure that's going to happen. And that's going to be such a confirmation for me to have that happen, because my I never got to meet her, but I have pictures of her on my website. If you go to my website and you go all the way to the bottom, I have like some pictures on there. And I have my grandfather who's from Greece. And I have my aunt who's also from Greece that had passed away in there. But I have my grandfather's grandmother on there. So you're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 generations back, right? His grandmother was a healer in Greece, and they used to call her, they used to think she was crazy. And here's the funny part, in her pictures, it's all black and white pictures because it was a long time ago. She has 2 servants in her picture, and she has a mink coat on. So they're sitting there like fanning her, and so it was already like, yeah, they might have had shit to talk, but shit, they already went to her.
Yeah.
And when I asked my uncle, what did she do? I said, did she used to use cards, or what did she do? He said, all I know is she used to use her hands to heal.
Right? They never know the
so
whole
that's
thing.
that
They're
energy
like, this
healing.
one I know.
Right. But then I was like, okay, so anyways, you are so on point. If you don't know, now you know that you could probably do, not probably, girl, nobody has read that about me. And I haven't shared that with anybody except that song I did. You know what I'm saying? So thank you.
You know, it's funny, I haven't heard the song. I don't get to see like, I'm a mom, I keep busy, but like, I don't get to see as many people as I need to on my feed. Those people, I'm like, yo, I haven't, if I see yours, like, let me pop in there. So I have seen your website, and I was like, oh, look at these pictures. Like, look, I wonder where she got these. This is so
I'll send you the song. I'll send you the song Pythia. So the pictures that are behind me that I've made all my stuff of, those were, my mother took those pictures when she went to Greece. And so I'm going to be going, and I'm going to be doing my own too.
Yeah.
But these pictures my mother had taken in Greece. So that's why it's also that root chakra.
Yep.
You know, that root chakra energy. But oh my God, I feel so blessed right now, because I didn't know that I was going to come on here and get confirmation for past life and ancestral DNA activation. So I'm just like,
It's funny because as almost I hear this, as you help others, you help yourself. So as you come out and you say that, you're confirming things for me when you say, okay, you could do, because I've always had a love and a passion for that. I just didn't know where to go with it. I do have a past life deck, but I don't play with it too often. It will arise every so often. I'll play around with it for myself in those moments when I'm like, oh, I think I've got to dive deeper and to do some healing as to maybe why I'm experiencing these things. But like, it's still a calling for me to dive into that. And I did take an Akashic Records class as well. I love, with that Scorpio energy, I love diving deep. You'll get me lost in the abyss of the darkness because I want to keep searching. Almost like you're like, I want to keep searching for the light. Like I want to keep going until I find it. And everything I find, I just keep unearthing little pieces and trying to put the puzzle together. So that fact that you said that makes me want to dive in more on that, because the other person that told me about it was Reiki with Kiki. She
Oh,
does,
how
I think,
funny.
past
Yeah.
life regressions. And I was like, oh, I've heard about it, but I haven't dived too deep into it. But even recently, just a few days, I'm like, oh, I need to dive deeper into whatever it is that needs to come up. Because I feel right
Yes.
now, Spirit is in that time for all of us, especially healers, to, it's kind of time to, we're raising that vibration. But the more that that's happening, it's the more we need to share our stories. That's why I do the podcast, which now I'm like, oh, you got to be on the podcast. Like, we're going to talk
Okay.
afterwards. The schedule for the new season that comes out, I'm going to try to schedule out in the fall to have that happen. But
Okay.
like, these stories that inspire people to say like, ooh, I'm doing this alone, but I want to do this with other people. So when we talk about like retreats, like those are why people have retreats. It's not because they just want to get away and be alone. They want to connect with other people that think like them, that feel like them, that go through these things and are sitting there probably saying like, I think I might be a little crazy, or like, did I really think that? Did I really see that? Like, no, you did see that. You did feel that. Those things are real things. And when you're around other people who are going through those things, it just makes it more like affirming that like, okay, I'm on the right path. I need to
Yes.
continue on this.
And it's key activations,
Yeah.
because when I speak to, like in the chat, you have root to crown in the chat. He'll say things, it will unlock certain key codes. Just this conversation that we've been having here, we're unlocking key codes for each other. And the thing is like, I'm just going to say this, and please don't be offended. I don't think you ever needed an Akashic class. I think that you did that probably because you wanted to know, like you wanted to study.
Right.
You enjoy that. But like, I don't think you actually needed it to actually access these gifts. Hi, everyone. I think that you have that already. As far as the past life healing, you know, being that you love psychic reading and helping people with your intuitive channel, why not make it multidimensional? That's all you're doing. See, people that are, I'm going to say it like this, and people can get mad at me if they want, but fake spiritualists that are just interested in spirituality because they think it's cool, they want to dive into the Akashic records, and they want to see what past lives I had, and da, 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 and God won't give them access. They'll have some bullshit. When you're using it, okay, this is a multi-dimensional healing tool. Okay, so we're going to be able to clear up pains of why you feel the way you feel. It might not even have anything to do with your current circumstance. It might not even have anything to do with a childhood wound. It might have to do with something that happened in a different life. you know. And on top of that, like the other side of that is like, people always want to say the healing parts of that, of the maybe the karma, but what about the cool stuff, like with me, how source showed, hey, you've done this. You're more than equipped. You're more than able. You are chosen for this, and your soul has been chosen for this for lifetimes. And it's like not a reassurance, but a confirmation to say, oh yeah, source did. I feel that. And then you said that, you know what I mean? So I think that, don't feel like you might tell somebody the wrong past life or whatever, because this is what I tell people. What comes out is what comes out. Really? If you resonate with it, resonate with it. If you don't.
Yeah.
Straight. Nobody's forcing anybody to believe nothing. I always say too, like one of my friends on here, his name's Darren Dragon Tarot. He always says, don't give your power away to a tarot reader. And he always says, because the stars collide, but you decide. So what he's saying is that, yes, we have this orchestration of astrology and of, this or that, but you ultimately hold the authority and the power, So when you're doing your past life readings, you're doing it with pure intention. People resonate or not, that's really not your problem after you know what I mean? I almost look at it like, when I do decide to go to church, if I give money to the church, that ain't my business what they do with it, because you're right. I did what God wanted me to do.
Yeah, it's your intention, right? It's whatever, how, I really am big on that. Oh, I like how you said that. I literally actually just thought about that today, where I was like, sometimes you get caught up, like exactly what you said. There's so many different spiritualists and people out there, and sometimes, even myself sometimes can get caught up, because imagine now doing this from the beginning. You're waking up, you're becoming enlightened, you're like, oh, you can't go back. You took the other pill, and you're realizing I can only go forward in everything I'm doing. But there's so much stuff on the internet that makes you feel like, if I don't get my crystals and do all these things and sit outside by the full moon and sing whatever and do a couple of dances and do all this stuff, that I'm not going to heal more. I'm not going to overcome this trauma. I'm not going to manifest. I'm not going to get to that goal. I feel like that can sometimes inundate our intuition and trusting that voice to say, like, oh, okay, sometimes you don't. Like, I really don't. When I do my work, it's me. It's not just me, but it's me working with Source Creator. When I go into a reading, when I do anything, I'm like, all right, Source, like, let's do this. Like, just do what you do, and that's it. I don't do any, I like somebody said spiritual pressure. Root to Ground 369 said spiritual pressure, which I feel a lot of people feel that way. They need to do all these things that they can almost become obsessed with the next thing, right? I need to get that next message. I need to get that next tarot reading. I need to follow up on what's happening in the stars, when sometimes it really is just you trusting your inner source, co-creating together, and then just taking a step. I might not know how it's going to land, but I know I'm going to land on my feet. That's bottom line. I'm going to land on my feet. So, thank you.
I have to disconnect, me personally, I have to disconnect sometimes from astrology and everything, just to ground.
Yeah.
And then, like Nikita said, we don't need anything but ourselves. So we are the universe. The universe is the universe inside of us, right? The macro and the micro. So it's like, I feel that a lot sometimes, because like I have so many books that I want to read. If we can only do what comes natural to us, that's true, because we have to allow the flow of the spiritual awakening, allowing the flow of the spiritual awakening. Now, 3 years ago, would I have wanted to be called Goddess Delphi? Yeah, but Source works in steps. It's like baby steps, You know, we're mothers. We're talking about being moms. Okay, I'm not going to make my child go run when they're just learning how to crawl. They're just learning how to walk. And we have to learn to be able to be patient with ourselves and be able to allow the stuff to come to us naturally. Like I just did a quick video on like healing the 7 layers of the aura. And I literally said that at the end. I go, now don't go thinking you got to go heal the whole aura right now. Cause I mean, it takes lifetimes.
Yeah.
It can take lifetimes. And here's the thing though. Sorry, one of my, Goddess OA the other day, I don't listen to a lot of people, but she was so on point. She was like, you know how they say Jesus paid it all? Yeah. And now God made you Jesus. So now you got to do your work.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, we already hold the victory. Yes, we have the authority, but now we have to actually do that stuff. And I know it can become overwhelming. Trust me, like I have a whole list of things that I'm trying to study and books to read and all. And then I'm like, am I not as impactful as I need to be because I need to have this more knowledge? Am I not, as, is this an imposter syndrome? Am I even a healer? I don't even know this shit. I need to go back to my books and read this stuff. And then I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
It's really about spirit.
Yeah.
Yes, it's good to learn the knowledge and to read the stuff. It's very good.
Yeah.
But when we're one-on-one with people or even in a group setting or even on lives or doing readings, people aren't looking for that. People are looking for realness. People are looking for authenticity. People are looking for wisdom, which is the experience that we've gone through. They're not looking for like, oh, do you know points 1 through 9 on, this or that.
Right. You're right. I love how you said that. They're looking for realness. They want people that they can look to and say like, okay, you've been through it and you're still here. You made it. Okay, so that means I'm still going through it and I'm gonna be okay. That I think is the biggest piece. Because when we talk to our kids and they come to us with these things that might not be so big to us as parents, as adults, but it's big to them, what do we say to them? It's gonna be okay. In those moments when we're not sure it's gonna be okay, but we're like, you know what, Creator, it's gonna be okay. Yeah, we have to continue to remind them and remind ourselves that it's gonna be okay, and that as long as we are being real to ourselves, then everything is going to turn out the way that it's supposed to. I love that. There's no words to express like how much information you can get from a conversation. I love conversations. I don't care if they're on live. I don't care if I'm talking on the phone. I don't care if it's through text. But like these moments right here is why like you inspire me. Like not just even everybody I communicate with and speak with. It's these conversations that I'm going to take away and I'm going to sit with all of what you said. I'm going to get in my journal. I'm going to break it down for myself. I love that. I just want to say thank you for even just taking the time to come on, because I know it was such a long stretch, but like this energy of being able to connect, and we're not even in the same space, but it feels like you are literally right next to me or in front of me right now, and I could touch you. Like that's the connection that I feel when I do these type of conversations. I just want to say thank you for that. Thank you for being a mother, because it's not easy. Like it's not easy being a parent to manage all those different beautiful energies that come through, and they've come through because we've birthed them with the help of Creator. So now to sit there and to do all of that work, and then to continue to do the work on yourself, like there is no words. Like, thank you so much.
I receive that.
I love these things because after I'm done, I'm always like, oh, I'm going to see this girl in person. I'm going
Yes,
to connect with her. I'm going to
let's
connect
do it.
and be together in person, because these people are like so many people I met through social media. Like in this time, to be in this time right now, I'm learning to embrace it more, because I think there was a point, I mean, we grew up in the 80s, so all of this technology and all of this stuff is so, I would say for me, still new, because I'm still about the human connection, but I'm learning that it can expand on so many different levels. And I want to continue to expand on that.
And it's essential for us healers because we are scattered throughout the, yes, you 80s mama here. So
right.
we're scattered though. We're scattered throughout the globe because source needs pillars throughout each community. And we try to find, most of us have tried to find people that we could kind of connect with, but we're very different. And I don't want to put separation between us and other people. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, yes, get involved locally wherever you can, you know, if you can do that, or just even if it's going to the grocery store and speaking word into people, speaking life into people. I believe that local, but we're literally, I have not met somebody, maybe one person. I met maybe one high priestess kind of in my vicinity. It's kind of social media is needed for us to be able to do grid work. We're grid workers. So it's like, how do grid workers connect? I mean, we do have telepathic connections, but also, and you know, dream space, we do a lot of work, but we're learning to use the enemy's weapons for our own tools. Oh, okay.
I love that. Oh, I love
we gonna use AI to our advantage.
Right. You're so right, though. You're so right. Definitely coming in on a different, because I always think that, like, and I don't know if anybody on here can also maybe attest to this, but like, I always feel that every being that comes in on certain decades are coming in, and not just decades, but even every year are coming in to raise the vibrations and raise consciousness. So at the time when we're growing up, we don't realize that. We might, so many people that I've done readings for, it's always been like, oh, you love nature, or you were so connected in some way, but somebody said shut that down or put that away or whatever, or there was a reason for that, and only now is it coming back because, well, we're in the age of Aquarius, so that energy is rising up even more. So in these times, to be able to connect on social media and to find people that you wouldn't find in your own neighborhood, and it's not to say they're not there, they're just still thinking, I'm alone in this. There's nobody around who gets me. There's nobody around who understands me. I've met so many people probably in the last 2 years from everywhere, whether it's social media or community or city or even country, where they come together and they're like, yo, like, I felt the same thing. I thought I was alone.
Yes.
Because you can't have these conversations with just anybody.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not walking
I've
there.
I've tried.
They ain't looking at you. They're not understanding. It's a different type of, like, it's a different, I can't even explain it, but I'll just use this as like an analogy, is that, like, my partner loves math, and he's like that technical side of it. And he'll be like, I don't understand how you can sit and read that philosophy. Like, he goes, I don't get it. Like, I get it, but I don't.
He's more logical minded.
Right. He's more logical. And I'm like, well, I don't get what you do, but it is what it is. But that made me realize that, like, some people get it and then some people don't get it. Right? You can't sit with everybody and talk about this stuff. Some, it overwhelms them. Some I've been there where I've seen people like, this was a lot and I appreciate this, but I'm going to leave because I took in a lot of energy and I think I need to go and process what I have. And we're like, we totally get it, because it can be a lot for people who are just saying, I'm ready to open up to this new thing. But whoa, I didn't know the energy was going to be like, oh, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I just heard the evolution of the healer. I just heard Source say the evolution of the healer. And then Root to Crown wrote, my mother used to tell me not to mention anything about my visions to anyone because of the same fear, right? And here's the thing is, I used to have, okay, ever since I was real young, I could see spirits. So, but the thing is I always could see demonic entities. And so I would tell my mom, that person, I don't like that. And I would be real young and she would be like, huh? And then like, so always trying to, you know, because it's not like I said, Mom, I see a beautiful angel. And you see what I'm saying? I'm like 2 years old, like, Mom, I saw Satan and I saw and the thing is when you have somebody that is of the light like that, of Christ consciousness, God, first of all, everything is attracted to you, the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? Because you are that beacon of light. But also, she didn't know how to talk about it. Yeah. And so her gifts weren't accepted. And therefore she was hushing mine down as well. You're but right. Here's the funny part is my daughter, she and my son, they've said weird things to me, and I'm like, yeah. And I tell them, oh, well, this is what this is, and I kind of school them a little bit. So here's the evolution of the healer, because now they know that what they're seeing they ain't crazy. That's right. They know that how to maybe deal with it, how to process it, and then I even have taught them like what to say to like evil entities. If you see evil entities, you tell them to go in Jesus' name. Like I've taught them so much about like, okay, and if you have like one of my daughters, she kept having a young kid that had passed away come to her. And at first she was scared, and I said, okay, the one thing we're not going to do is act out of fear. Okay. So I had to explain to her. And I used the movie It, even though I don't even know if she watched that when she wasn't supposed to, because I don't let my kids watch that kind of stuff. But I told her, I said, remember how the clown grew only when it was eating the fear. I said, so you can't let none of the stuff, you have the authority within you. So when you feeling these different spirits and these different entities and different, that means you have vision, mama. Yeah, okay. Right. So the evolution of the healer is we're learning to be able to teach and to accept our own gifts and be able to teach others like what it is and what it means, so that we can evolve.
Girl, that evolution of the healer, that word right there, that's big, because you're so spot on with that. A similar story, my mom, like exactly what you said, our ancestors, it was there before time, and then it had to go dormant for a little bit because all the influx, it was too much. It was based off of fear, so they had to go back in hiding, and now it's coming back out. So same thing with my kids as well. Sometimes my daughter will be like, but am I crazy? Does this sound weird? I'm like, it's never weird. It is never weird. You tell me how you feel, and we'll go from there. So we are definitely in that time right now. And
I've even had to tell my kids, like, and I'm not trying to be rude, but like there will be like, let's say a drug addict on the side of the road and we're at a stoplight, and my kid will go and they want to lock eyes. They want to lock eyes with your kid because your kid has this pure light of innocence and they are in hell. So they want to lock. I watched my daughter one day. I looked at the side of the road. I saw the guy. I saw all his demons. And then I saw him go to lock eyes with my daughter, and I watched it happen, and my daughter locked eyes and she went, ew. And I went, baby girl, don't lock eyes with certain entities, because they, not because you're not powerful enough, but it's because they're wanting your light. And it's not that we can't give people our light and give people healing. I'm not saying don't give people your light and give people healing if you're strong enough spiritually to handle certain things, because you're not going to send a little kid to somebody that has all those sex demons and addict demons and all that shit.
Oh man,
so
we're on the same page.
Yeah, so my kids, and then or now they'll say stuff like, Mom, did you feel that energy?
Yeah.
I didn't like that. And I'll say, yeah, I didn't like that either. Yeah. Because then it's teaching them their intuition too. So then say they're in a situation and you have some fucking guy trying to feel up on them, and they're like, my intuition is saying no. Okay, well, listen.
Yeah.
Teach you young to listen to it.
So that by the time you are out there in the world, it's strong. You know what I mean? I felt like I had to do that as an adult to learn how to strengthen to where I am now. But to teach that to them and to now make them understand that, like, your light is so bright that people are automatically going to gravitate towards you. So same thing, like when you said the lock of the eyes, that happened. My daughter just started high school, and she said, this kid just locked eyes with me like we knew each other. I'm like, it's because he recognized your light. Beings recognize, your spirit will recognize another spirit just like that. I go, so I did say to her, sometimes you got to be careful. Now you're in a bigger school with a lot more kids. I go, and I did the same thing. I gave her a little tip to just learn how to protect yourself. If you're not comfortable to do it, I'll make sure I intentionally do it for you before you walk out that door. But like, you have to start being aware that, like, your energy is so attractive. It's so bright that people will automatically want to look at you, whatever it is. So we've got to learn to balance that out. And somebody said too, Root to Crown said, my mother used to, what does it say? My mother used to tell me not to mention anything about visions to anyone because of the same thing of fear. I didn't hear until last year. I did a reading for my mom, and she was like, yeah, I used to see spirit. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah. When her dad passed, she had mentioned that she had seen him and it spooked her. And then she mentioned that my uncle, who's also passed, like who has passed, he used to be able to speak spirit too. So it's like, in my head, it helped me to understand that, like, oh, this is who we are. This runs through our family, whether they spoke about it or not. It's there, and somebody within the lineage will pick it back up.
Yeah, it's true. Going, they will pick it back up. And the thing is it's easier for them to pick it up if we are open with ours. Yeah. Like, it was when I found out about my grandfather's grandmother being a healer 6 generations back, it gave me encouragement. Yeah. I said, oh my God, so I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing. like, and here's the funny part is, people could have made it easier for me because they could have let it be known through the generations. This is what the grandma did. And then this is why I have gifts. This is why you have gifts, but I do that for my kids. And hopefully it will help them not allow people to gaslight their intuition, because people see, that was my problem. I got in touch with my intuition early, but I allowed not only my own self to gaslight my own intuition, but hi Alex, I had other people also that I allowed to gaslight my intuition to where I was constantly questioning my intuition. And it's like, no, so I want to make sure that, I let them know, like, how it doesn't matter what anybody even says around you. It's what is God saying to your spirit, and don't let anybody gaslight that. That's the biggest thing as a reader too, I would say, is I would say 99% of my readings, everybody's like, you're spot on, you're so accurate. They give me like pictures and they of certain things that resonated, or like why it resonated, or you know what I'm saying. And the thing is I don't never doubt it anymore, because I know when the Holy Spirit speaks to me in my daily life. So if I am following the Holy Spirit in my daily life, when I do a reading, it's going to be that same voice, right? So I'm already going to know. But where I've had problem is there have been certain people that don't want to accept certain healing things that they need to do, and they won't. They'll say, well, I don't know about, you know, like one of the first ones I did, I got about this lady, and I felt so bad because it was on live and it was a 1-card pull, and she got fairness, but the message that came through was like that she wasn't treated fair most of her life, and source just wanted her to know that like karmic justice is here, and that like as long as you care about yourself, like as long as you're treating yourself fairly, right, and holding your boundaries, right. She didn't like that message too much.
Oh, but it
It's like
was
I was
right. It
I
was
went,
spot on.
oh, you know, so just be ready to trigger people. Just be ready to trigger
Spot
people.
on.
You know,
Those ones, yeah, it is those ones out there who they want the answer, but they're afraid of what the answer is, because it's not what they might think it is. It's probably what they need, but they're not ready to even touch on.
I always do disclaimers. I always do, like when I do love readings, I'm like, disclaimer. I might not tell you he's coming tomorrow and wants to marry you. I might just tell you about what God wants to tell you, which it might be self-healing. It might be inner child issues. It might be healing your masculine. It might be healing your mother-father wounds. Like, I don't know. It's going to be what you need.
Yeah, in that moment. I love that. I definitely love that.
And it's important that we don't allow the gaslighting. You know, we don't allow our own intuition to be gaslit. That's especially as our gifts get more and more profound, because spirit will get more and more accurate. And I've been spooked a lot of the times when God's like, this person is saying this about you, where I can actually hear conversations and shit. And I'm like, oh God. So now I got to deal with them smiling at me when I already know what they were saying.
You're
you know?
right, though.
And we have to be able to trust ourselves, trust our intuition, trust what our gut is saying, trust what we're feeling, you know, and then be able to do that when we have kids. If you don't have kids, or if you do have kids, be able to kind of have their back on that. Like, yeah, you know, I even catch myself trying to, you know, I'm like, don't even let mommy gaslight you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Don't let mommy even gaslight.
Yeah, I do want them to call me out on stuff, because I know that I still have things that I'm working on. And if I don't have them, I mean, they see me all the time, 24/7. That's my crew right there. So I need you to call me out in those moments so that we can slowly begin to create dialogue with one another that works for your age group, but can grow as you grow. Because I want them to be able to sit back and know in those moments when if it's not me, but you're in a conversation with somebody else in another relationship, that you can pinpoint those moments and not be afraid to share that, not be afraid to say in that moment, I didn't like the way you said that. I didn't like the way you made me feel in that moment. I didn't like how I felt, whatever it is. And for that person to be able to sit back and say, okay, I hear you, versus trying to flip the script, right? And doing that gaslighting thing where they might start to question their own emotions and their own feelings in this relationship and how that's going to manifest and grow. If you can do that with me, which I know I couldn't do that with my own family, and a lot of us couldn't, right? I'm making progress. I'm making progress. They're making progress. The next generation is making progress. that is like, all right, man, yeah, call me on my shit.
So the name of this live is going to be called The Evolution of the Healer.
Yeah.
Because we are healers giving birth to healers for the evolution of healing, period.
That's it. That is it. Oh, I love how you just said that. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And even if they don't utilize this the way that we are, they're at least going to utilize it to help them on their own journey and their own path to whatever greatness that's going to come from it. Sometimes a lot,
and that's the most important,
right? Because a lot of people think, oh, now that I have this, I should be doing this, I shouldn't be. And it's not for everybody. This is what I want to do. This makes me happy. What makes you happy? And then you can, through that, through your healing, through all the lessons, the growth, you can then become what you're supposed to be. And to me, I'm like, oh,
and we need intuitives everywhere. We need intuitives at wherever. We need intuitives everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We need them all hidden. You know, like I need an intuitive when I get my hair done.
Oh,
I need an intuitive. I want my nail person to be an intuitive. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right. I want you to operate out of your spirit and out of your soul.
Your soul, oh yeah, because those connections, you lead, then it's a different experience. It's not me going to just get my hair done. It's me coming out feeling like, ooh, I just had a whole experience. Like, yo, hairdressers, people that do anything that is like a service, you're making a connection no matter what. I'm doing that more. I'm stepping out of my comfort zone more with that. If I see somebody that I'm like, oh, you're beautiful, like I had to mention that, or like, because a lot of the times we're even afraid to do that. We're like, ooh, should I say that? Are they going to think I'm weird or whatever? Because we've been so conditioned over time to separate ourselves to the point where we say nothing to our neighbor. We don't say, hi, how are you? But like, I think it's important to bring those things back because it is about the connection. It is about like, that's how we grow. That's how I've learned so much is through connecting with other people, hearing their stories, allowing that to inspire me, taking that back to my household. How am I going to utilize that? How, like, I've seen the progress in them. I want that same progress. How's that going to work for me?
Right. You know, can I mention that is the difference between a divine being and someone who's still stuck in karmic patterns? Because as a divine woman, I can look at your beauty and tell you how beautiful you are. You know what I mean? And I can look at your gifts and tell you how gifted you are. You know what I mean? And it's not, there's no competitive nothing there. So when I start, you know, because it happens a lot. People start, you know, that's why they don't speak up and say, oh, that person looks pretty or whatever. I'm the girl. I'm always going. And I always have to say no homo now because people think that you're gay.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with being, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, like, if I tell you you're so beautiful, it's because I'm seeing your whole aura, your soul, your natural beauty too.
Yeah. It's a light presence.
And like, we want to be able to lift each other up. We want to give each other daps. We want to give each other kudos. Like, yes. Like,
and you don't get
that's how we do grow.
And you don't get it enough. I think a lot of people, it's almost surprises them sometimes. And they're like, oh, okay, I wasn't expecting that. But it's so needed to know that, like, it's affirming. And it's also, I always think it's also through spirit, right? Just like what you said, it's an energy thing about it. It's a glow about it. That's why I'm mentioning those things, is that like, oh, there's something about you that attracts me. And I had to just mention that, like, I see you. Like, I want to know that I see you. Yeah, my spirit sees you, creator sees you, source sees you. Like,
that's right. That. And don't listen to anybody. If they can't see you, that's fine. They are not meant to see you, or they just are blinded. Yeah. Either blinded by your light or blinded by a blindfold. It don't matter. But if people can't accept you, if you're doing your best to show up authentically and people don't see your beauty, do not take it personal. It's like, okay, in that case, you probably don't see the beauty in yourself if you feel like you have to compete with my spot, compete for, you know, whatever, if your energy is better than my energy and blah, 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 and all this weird shit, you know, all that funky shit.
Yeah.
It's just that those karmic patterns that need to clear. But I'm so appreciative of another divine feminine that wants to do that as well. And I feel like that's all I'm going to be encountering from now on, because I'm going to be able to see that other energy real quick for what it is. And when I see it for what it is, I'm not going to let it just stay around me. I'm going to just be like, you know, it's like deuces. Like if you can't see my authentic light, deuces.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If my authentic light intimidates you,
Goodbye.
deuces. If it doesn't, here's the difference. A divine being is inspired.
Yes.
A karmic pattern person is intimidated. So if I see Beyonce, she got a banging ass body, she got a lot of money, she can dance, she can sing, she fucking got it all. Am I going to allow intimidation to take me to a level of now I'm looking at her funny? Or am I going to allow it to inspire me? Well, if I know I'm a divine being, it doesn't matter. I might not be at her level. But hey, shit, I'm a divine being too. Well, then now I got questions. How'd you do it? What'd you do?
Right?
But not in a spiteful way, in a way to be inspired of, oh, let me take notes. Let me take notes.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are not shrinking for anyone. Root to crown chakra. I gotta hold on. You got some amazing people that are in here right now, and amazing people that follow you, and this connection that you have. I know it's getting late, so I'm gonna ask for a collective card pull or something to like solidify this from you, because I feel like she's got to pull something to
okay.
Yeah, I feel like your energy is amazing. The gems that you dropped, I love it. We have to do this again, but like, yeah, what collectively should be said right now?
Okay. So I'm gonna get my little inspirations deck that I have. Basically, most of my downloads that I get, I put in this deck.
I love how you do that.
Thank you. And it's just a way of bringing downloads that I receive throughout, you know, different moments in time, and just allowing God to speak using those same downloads. So, okay, let's get a collective card to close out, and then maybe you can do one, pick one as well, if you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
But so I just want to thank Holy Spirit and thank God. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Ascended Masters, Archangels. Thank you, ancestors of the highest divine truth. Thank you, galactic family. I ask Holy Spirit for a clear message closing out for the collective. And I just want to thank God so much for the people, the genuine people that you're bringing into my life. And I thank you guys, for everybody here in the live and for everybody that's going to be watching. I appreciate you guys so much. And thank you so much, Righteous Sun.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you to everybody who joined. I love the conversation that was happening. Root to Crown. I'm following you. I'm following a few of you now. It's so nice to be able to connect and just be able to grow community and to hear beautiful wisdom from so many people and their experiences.
So instead of picking one card, I'm going to allow a little bit of a flow, like maybe just like a 2-minute, like a real quick mini reading. Absolutely. Let's do a mini reading. Okay. I'm so winded. Like I'm a winded person. Like I conversate, and my Venus is in Gemini.
Okay.
So that means I show love and I give love through conversation and stuff. And so we'll do a mini reading. Absolutely. Okay, so I split the deck, And I got my ancestors ride with me.
Mm.
Proceed with caution.
Ugh.
Come correct, or my ancestors will show you the ropes.
Mm.
Bodyguards. So, you know, you got the Empress who walks the red carpet, and you got the ropes to hold the paparazzi and all the people back that don't have access to your divine energy, right? And the people that are at the ropes, the bodyguards that are at the ropes, are the ancestors. And they're like, because see, it wasn't about all the work that we've put in.
Yeah.
It's also about all the work they've put in.
Yeah.
They're like, you ain't finna get past this rope and fuck up all the shit I done.
Right? Yeah, right. Oh, right. I mean, putting fire emojis, right?
We got one emperor, one empress. There's only one out of 78 cards in the tarot. There's only one emperor, one empress. Okay? There's not, that means we embody all the kings. We embody all the queens. That means that we have been able to learn about the elements, how much emotion we have, how to move through the waters, how to be able to use our fire to clear, right? To start new beginning, to be able to use the earth to ground and to anchor in, you know, to be able to use our wisdom and our intellect to be able to solve, to problem solve. And it's like we embody all those things, you know? So one emperor, one empress, there's nobody like you, and you're highly guarded by the ancestors. On the other side of this deck, it says sacral healing, born again virgin, purity, Mother Mary, and holy. So I'm getting there might be somebody that will be watching or whatever, might be watching now, but maybe you haven't felt so pure when it comes to your sacral. Maybe you have felt like maybe you've gone through some trauma in that area. But Source is saying, when I look at you, I see a born again virgin. When I look at you, I see holy. Okay? So you have Mother Mary here also protecting your womb space, which for my males out there, protecting your creative endeavors, and my females, right? Protecting that creative space, that sacred space, that sacral space. So the space that you create from is so pure. That's what makes you worthy of this kind of protection, because it's like, a lot of the people see, look, love and patience transform anything. So it's like you embody this purity, you embody this transformative energy of the love and the patience. And it's like when you hold, okay, how can I say this? When God holds you as pure and God holds you as holy, and then your love is so pure that it transforms people, you literally have your ancestors and Mother Mary holding it down for you over here. And then this says pamper yourself. So giving yourself everything that you need. This says not only do you deserve reciprocated love, but you deserve some new shoes or some Victoria's Secret. So Source is like, make sure that you treat yourself as the royalty that you are, because a lot of the times we don't see our own love as that pure, or even if we know that our love is that pure, we still take it for granted, and other people take it for granted. But Source wants to let us know that like we are meant for the royal treatment. And then here you have the Holy Spirit. I split the deck. 443355, which is the code for the Holy Spirit, that root to crown. He does the codes. But this says pure healing sessions. So again, pure came up. So we got pure twice. Right. And so of those of you guys who resonate with the Holy Spirit, we know the Holy Spirit is as pure like a dove. The Holy Spirit brings peace, okay? Purity, all right? So you're operating, collective, out of such a pure space that it can't help. Your love is so pure, it can't help but heal and touch people's lives. So if you have been doing pure healing sessions, you will, it says over here, hit me up for a personal reading. So hit me up, hit her up for a personal reading, or maybe you are getting prompted to be doing these readings, these personal readings for other people as well. So that's the message. Thank you,
That
Source Creator. Thank you,
was,
Holy Spirit.
that message was so on point, and it literally touched on the whole conversation. Like the whole conversation we had wrapped up in those cards right there. So I'm going to add this after you did that. Nothing happens by accident. Everything is divinely mapped out. Whether we realize it or not, it doesn't matter if you take a left or a right or you do a windy turn. It don't matter. Divinely mapped out, you will still end up at your destination. So please remember that. For those who are thinking, I don't know if I should, like we were talking about, that pureness, that intuition that sits there, but we question it. It doesn't matter which direction you go. If you are intentionally following Source, Creator, Spirit, you will always get to your destination.
Ashe.
And that talks about that, especially with our whole conversation and how those cards just were like, boop, boop. They're just getting all mapped out. It's because this was already there. That was already written in the stars no matter what. Our connection together, the connection with the people that you meet, who I meet, who's on this live, who's going to watch this, it happens for a reason. So we should never question it. And I always use this with my kids all the time. I use it for myself as well. When we have divine faith, it's not just in ourselves and in us as a human being. It's having divine faith in Source Creator. Source is like, yo, I already know what I'm doing. I'm doing this. Now, do you believe in what you're seeing? Or are you going to continue to question it? Are you going to listen to the outside people? Or are you going to listen to the inner source that's been there from before you even came into this earth? It was always there. So in this time right now, we need to have more faith, more divine faith that we will get to our destination. It doesn't matter how long it takes. It could be short, long, fast, who cares? And this, to me, this live showed that, because every time I've ever had a conversation, I was like, let's end with cards. The cards always speak truth. So yeah, that would be my little collective in the end, to wrap it up. But thank you so much, because I love to get those little answers. Like, okay, I hear you, Spirit. Okay, you talking, we can hear you.
Ashe. I'm just I'm humbled and thankful that Source considers me a pure spirit and a pure soul enough to allow his love to be radiated through me.
It can definitely, and I think this is like the energy right now. I've been brought to tears a few times lately, where I'm like, I don't even know why I'm crying, but it's good tears. It's happy tears. It's happy feelings that I'm feeling. It's this overwhelming joy. I don't know if it's like overjoyed, but like just this influx of emotions. And I get those emotions that you're feeling, because it does humble you to say, like, wow, I've always been in a space of like, all I can give is of myself. And to me, that was always enough. And in this time right now, it clearly says that that is what people need. They need more of that. We get inundated by, you need this, you need the materialistic. You don't. You need none of that. It means nothing. It's just the icing on the cake. It's the sprinkles. It's the cherry on top. But it's not the ingredients. The ingredients is what helps to bring all of that together. And now we can refine all of that. We can refine the recipe that has been given to us from our ancestors. We're refining it.
Yo, you just gave me what you just said, Source gave me a download immediately.
Share.
You just said that we're getting the ingredients basically from our ancestors, and so this is ancient alchemy. This is not just normal alchemy. You're talking ancient alchemy. That's so dope. I'm sorry, that's dope.
I get it
to me because I'm like, yo, we're talking ancient alchemy here. We're bringing back what I just hear. We're bringing sexy back, but it's like we're bringing that back.
I love when you just said that. I literally just thought about that the other day. That not the song, but the way that you said it. I'm bringing sexy back. We're bringing back, like what you said, this evolution of healers. It's going to look so different.
Oh my
this time,
God.
It's going to look so different. This whole thing of a lot of people looking at it like Miss Chloe. You know, people used to say like, right?
You
and
feel it?
So
you see it.
on
You're feeling it and seeing it right now in real time, like I am.
Yeah, but we're stepping into a time right now where this work and the healing, people want that. And I never think it's because they want it on the surface level. Your spirit, your soul is calling for it, or you would never go in that direction. Because people who don't want to go in that direction, people who fear it, it's because they don't know it. So they would rather stay away because it scares them a little bit, right? They are still in the mindset of it's a separation and a ghost is going to pop out and scare the shit out of them. But when you finally step into that space and your spirit is calling for you to do it, it's a whole eye opener for you. And we're definitely coming into a time where this is looking, I don't want to say the word appealing, but it's something where it's going to be in a space where it's no longer feared.
Yeah, it's because it's like we're the ancient alchemists and we have awoken.
Yeah.
The ancient alchemists have awoken. So we're bringing that blueprint in and we're saying, okay, are you guys ready to take your medicine?
Right?
You guys have done it like this, how you thought. Now Source had to send in the ancient freaking alchemists, the ancient magicians, the ancient alchemists of how do you really move this energy around? How do you really do this shit?
Yeah.
Yo,
Remembering
I never
DNA,
got that download.
Spiritual memory code. I'm learning more when I talk to you too about codes, right? That's something like I've heard every time I go on your lives and I listen to you. You definitely talk a lot about the codes. So I'm starting to understand more through conversation with you right now that conversation helps to unlock things. And as we know, like words are spells. So what are we doing? Not just spells, but like words, letters, numbers, they're all codes that can unlock things. That's why when we see angel numbers and things like that, it helps
you just look on my face. You see this look on my face? I am like, we're awakening the ancient healers. Yes. So every time you get a code in your DNA and I get a code and we collectively shift, we are waking up the blueprint of the ancient healers, the ancient alchemists, to come during this great awakening, this shift. They needed us. Yeah. They needed, like it's almost like, okay, we've done all these equations. Now we need like our basics back. Like, where's the basics? And it's like, oh, you need us. Yeah. I thought so. Yeah. Yeah. And that's why it's going to become more acceptable and not as scary because people are ready. Like you said, people are ready for it. Yeah. And we don't realize how we're going to come in a more practical kind of way too.
Exactly when you said that, because that's really how I work. I don't want all of the extra. Growing up, I was given that in a way that was like, it's something to be feared. But
I try to keep shit so down to earth. That's why I swear. And I try, I know, like, I thought about it. Like, maybe I shouldn't cuss this much.
Oh, no,
and, you know, but as I grow, maybe I won't. But there's a part of me, I let that ratchet side out because it's personable, bro. Yeah. It's personable. People like it. That's what makes you different. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's what that practicality, or that, like, that's what's going to make it where, okay, they can receive codes. Okay, God's telling me some shit. They can receive codes easier, and they can receive shifts and healing easier if it comes with a little laughter, a little comedy, a little practicality, a little, right? Yeah. So it's like, it's almost like we are, wow, God is so good, girl. Because our thing is about being a mother and a spiritual healer. And this is the example Source just gave to me. He said, we are the healers that mix a little bit of sugar to make it go down, just like mothers do when we need them to eat their vegetables. We might put cheese on top of the broccoli, or you understand? That's what we do as healers. We're ancient alchemists and ancient healers, and we're evolutionizing the healing blueprint. You're right. And we do it just like we do with our kids as moms. We're feeding people, and we're like literally like, okay, we're not going to be weird Miss Cleos and shit like that. We're going to be fucking like a badass. Like, damn, Sarah's cool. Sarah's cool as fuck. I want to, like, and Rashida's very cool, and she's practical, and like, yeah. And, like,
real ass people, basically sharing our stories, sharing our experiences. Because that's what it is. Like, we're just here on this earth doing our thing. That's how I've always looked at it. I'm just here. I'm moving through life. I'm doing my thing. How can you now? It's like those who will say, I don't get it. But they can get it if they have a conversation from a different point of view that can help them to absorb whatever it is and help them to transmute it in a way that can help them take the next step. And then take the next step, and the next step, and the next step, to the point now where now you're moving a little bit faster. Now you're not just walking, you're running. And it feels so smooth. You're not out of breath anymore.
And now you're not having to spoon feed people. They're able to take some food, and they gonna have to learn to mix it with the shit to feed it to the babies.
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
Oh my. And they're gonna be asking, is it better to mix it with the cheese on top? He said, yeah, just put it with the cheese on top. They good.
You're right. That's exactly what it is.
And I got that download the other night too, about leaders leading leaders uniting leaders. So it was basically, you know, people awaken. That's the thing, guys. There is no competition in the journey of life. We're just to experience it and to grow. As long as you're experiencing and you're growing, then you're doing the right thing. There's nobody, oh, well, their life is better or whatever. We can't compare. We can't give into that. We have to literally just be like, okay, this is the life that God gave me, and I'm thankful for it. And how can I enjoy my life and grow so that my soul evolves? And then, you know, if God sends you back, and you evolve more. And every time we go back and be with Source, we grow and we evolve more. I mean, you know, leaders leading leaders. With that being said, we all awaken at different times. There's no race. So there's people that have taught me. There was a point in time in my life I didn't know what an inner child was. You know, people looked up to me as a spiritual leader, but there was a time where I looked up to others. You know, and there still is people. I look up to a lot of even my peers now, because I know that they're woke like me and they're spiritual leaders like me. So it's like, why not go to your brother or your sister and be able to talk with them? Because you know they're consulting Holy Spirit, you know. But some people I'll be teaching, some people you'll be teaching, some people, you know, other people will be teaching me. So
that's right.
I mean,
it's all. I think it's always back and forth.
yeah, you're doing it. Only way you're doing a disservice is if you're not growing and you're not using your gifts to teach. So if you're not telling anybody and you know shit, and you should probably tell people disservice.
You got to.
If you know you should be growing in certain areas and you're not, disservice.
You have to, because it's, somebody said that to me, Rashida, if you don't use these gifts, what the fuck are you here for? I was like,
I think a lot of us though, I'm sorry, girl, go ahead.
It hit me one time because I just said that when they said collective growth is so important, because through everything that I teach, I learn. And even vice versa, because everybody's perception is different. How they take a lesson from the same thing that we both saw the same image, but we might take a different lesson. So I want to know what your lesson is, because I want to take a little piece, like what you said. I want to write notes. What did you get? Oh, okay, I get that. I didn't see that part in that moment. Okay, but I get that. That makes sense. I might not need it right now, but I might need that note for later on. I might experience something in my life that will bring me back and say, ooh, so-and-so said this at that moment. I remember that. I wrote that down, or I took a mental note of it, and now I'm going to be able to utilize that in this time. Right?
See, some people don't want to share because there's some haters that have gone through a lot of shit, and they feel like because they went through a lot of shit to learn it, now they want you to have to go through all the shit to learn it. Okay? But that's not love. That's not love. I mean, if people need to go through hard situations to learn some shit, then they will. But if you can teach somebody by what you've gone through, then do that for somebody else. You know, I think what made me not say a lot of things at first was I thought everybody knew. Does that make sense?
No, that makes sense.
I'm so naive. I thought everybody knew. And what I mean by that is I thought everybody had intuition. Yeah. I'm like, why are you worried about, why you want my advice and my intuition if you got your own intuition? But then I realized that it's a developing process, and some people's intuition are a little bit stronger, and you can develop your intuition to get stronger. But until maybe yours is stronger, you could ask for help or for some guidance, you know what I'm saying? But ultimately still working on your own intuition, you know what I mean? But that's kind of what made me not share, because I was like, yo, people know, right?
Right? You think that they do. I remember sharing, and these people looked at me like I was crazy, and I was like, I guess I'm not gonna share anymore. And I kept it quiet for so long until it had to start coming out, because I realized, like, damn, so much synchronicities were happening in my life. So many things were unfolding in a way that I couldn't, it would be like, did this actually happen in my dreaming? That I had to at some point say, oh no, Rashida, you got to start sharing. I've been through so much. We've all been through so much. No, you got to, like, honestly, when I started that podcast, it was because I had conversations like this behind the scenes with people. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so inspiring. That's so this, that's so that. Yeah. And I utilized it for my own self. And it's gotten me even further. So I'm like, well, if it works for me, like, yo, other people need to hear your story, because I was so touched by it. I was so moved by it that it helped me move a couple mountains out of the way. That story helped me to climb to the top a little bit more when I thought,
but here's the real key. You ready for it? Because this is what your next step is, and if you're not already doing it, because this is, I feel like you're either already doing this or you will be doing this, okay? See, people want to know how you do that. People don't even know how to take someone's story and move mountains with it. That is alchemy, honey. You're able to take someone's experience or even your experience and change it into beauty and a way to give back and a whole fucking channel, a whole 5D archetype of Righteous Sun 00, right? Like, you see what I'm saying? People don't know how to do this, sis.
You're
People
right.
don't fucking know. So
I hear you on that one. Yeah.
So when they watch your podcast, they're getting more even than just the story of the person's life. They're getting that, but they're also getting like, dang, and who is she? And how is she doing this? And how, you see what I'm saying? And that is really what it is. And I feel like you're already doing that.
Yeah.
But that's really what it is. And that's, people are like, how? They don't know how.
Girl, you know what? We know how, but even in moments, there's like, I don't know how. I just trust. I just have faith that whatever comes out is going to flow. And then when it flows, I'm like, all right, like I did my job. In that moment, I'm so big on like, I'm the telephone. I'm just the connection between the two. So pick up the phone to your spiritual posse. Pick up the phone to your ancestors. Like, yo, they want to talk to you. That's why you came to me, right? When a client comes, I'm like, it wasn't me. It wasn't anything about me. It was your ancestors, people above, all around were saying, we're having a conversation. Let's get down on earth and let's talk about this. And then we're just the middle piece to help bridge that gap. And I love bridging that gap because, like, I know for you, and at least for myself too, we had to bridge the gap alone for so long that now that we bridged it, I'm like, yo, everybody come on the bridge. Come on, let's cross over to the other side. Like, it's good over here. So I'm like, every time I get inspired, I'm like, oh yeah, the bridge is getting stronger. I want people to continue to go over to the other side. It feels so nice over there. Yeah, it's tough, but like there's a little bit more rest and solitude. You can rest and all that. Oh, you had a hard time, a rough time. I get it. But over here, you don't have to do that anymore. We're in a
I'm
time
hearing
where,
that scripture. I'm hearing that scripture in the Bible. It's like, he leads me by still waters. He leads me by the like green grass. He restores my soul. You know, so that's the path of restoration. This is it's the rainbow bridge, and it is the path of restoration and healing and promise, the promised land. There's a lot of rest, a lot of peace. You know, yeah, we desire. I'm about to cry. I looked in your eyes and I see it. I saw, because there's light and there's pain and there's truth and there's struggle. And it's like it's and now I'm getting that scripture in the Bible about love being nothing. If you don't have love, you're just a clanging cymbal. You can even prophesy, but if that even goes away, but love doesn't. So it's like, that's that love. That's like, hey, come on. We want everybody to go.
We want everybody
to
go. Because that how, when you talk about that, when people say how are they still standing? How are they still moving? How are they not feeling so broken? No, we felt it. We definitely felt it. But we also know that we don't want to feel that again. So what's the opposite of that? Yeah, I want to feel this. I want to feel this love. I want to feel all of that energy over here. That feels abundant. That feels warm. That feels safe. I like those feelings. Those feelings we had coming into this world. We felt that. That's why we came back, not just because we needed life lessons, but we knew that coming back here, there was so much more than what people even see.
My kids are starting to I need to go make sure the babies are
That's right.
They're starting to get
Psalm
little
23 too. I'm gonna look that
Thanks
one
for
up.
putting that up there.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much. We're gonna do this again. Okay?
Yes, we can, and we can also do the podcast too if you want to do that.
Absolutely.
So I'm open to both of that.
Yeah.
Our conversation flows real easy. You guys, this is like the first time me and her has ever even talked
Right?
face to face.
Yeah. And we were so, I wanted to add this in because my personality is very much like, I'm so chill. I'll jump on because I know these conversations are just going to flow so beautiful that
Yeah,
I'm like, ooh, if we do
you're a
too
real
much
one.
behind
That's
the
how I
scenes,
like it.
we're
I
not going to,
rather have it like that.
that's right. So I'm so glad that you decided to jump on. Thank you so much. I know our times were a little different. Our days were all over. We got the kids in the way, but like these conversations are so important. They're so beautiful to have. And it's spirit. That's how I say it. It's always source creator working through us. And it's like not just me and you having a conversation. You already know that. It's like our whole spiritual posse is sitting there. We're all sitting together, breaking bread. Even the ones that we can't see on earth, they're here. Even everybody that was in the chat, everybody, we're all collectively having a whole powwow. And that to me fills me up. Yo, I'm not even tired. I should be tired.
I love that. You said we breaking bread. Yeah. And like, I love that because like, you have to understand my personality. Like breaking bread, bro, like if you breaking bread with me, that means we family. You know what I'm saying? You breaking bread with me, and if my ancestors are breaking bread with you, that means you have access to the table. That means we can dine together. That means it's like the 12 disciples in the Last Supper. Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We can commune together. We can have communion together. Oh, that's so beautiful. Girl, so I appreciate it. I know, I appreciate it so much. And like now that you know we've done our introduction now, we can when like you said, because I'm real laid back too. I actually do better with like more. I do better than planning. Yeah. Than like if you just like hit me up and said, hey, tomorrow, that almost works better for me than because I have to be so flexible. So I just want to let you know that, we could go live again and it doesn't have to be planned out for like a week in advance or anything like that. I'm more like less flow with spirit. Too. So yeah, definitely. We have to do this. We got to bring other people on too, because the more the merrier to me as well. Especially in these conversations, these deep conversations like that, we can add more people. And also too, if you want to do readings, like donation readings one day or anything like that, we can do that. But I don't really like to do free like collective readings that much. Like I don't mind doing like little mini readings, but it's just because a lot of the times my energy it has to be. I've learned about reciprocation, and so like so if you ever want to do like we could do like donation readings or whatever like that. Absolutely, we can go live and do that together as well. Thank you so much. So I just want to thank you and your ancestors. I want to thank you and your ancestors. Thank you so much, and thank you everybody who joined. Put your kiddos to bed. I'm about to do the same thing. But thank you. We're definitely going to touch base. Send you so much love, so much blessings. Oh my gosh. I could hug you through the phone. I receive it. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Guys, have a great night. Thank you, beautiful, divine feminine. Guys, peace out. Love you. Love you. Bye. Bye, everybody.